Welcome back to the show Till All Are Done. The show where we cover one toy for every character in the Transformers universe. We are currently working through the G1 cast, and if you want to follow the series from the very beginning with Optimus and Megatron, check out the playlist linked in the description or the card linked in the corner. But the best way to stay tuned for new episodes is to subscribe and see which figures and characters pop up next. We just discussed this in our last episode with Skywarp, but to recap, many of the toys of our favorite G1 icons derived from this Japanese toy line called Diaclone. That never gets old. Hasbro took the toys from Diaclone and made characters, fiction, lore, and of course more toys out of it, and thus the Transformers was born. That's a very abridged version of the story, but one of those characters was Ironhide, and his counterpart and moldmate Ratchet, of course. The problem was that the transition wasn't smooth for every character. Transformers features sentient robots, while the Diaclone toys had human-controlled machines. So you can imagine something slipping through the cracks, right? Well, the one that definitely slipped through was Ironhide. Look at his G1 toy. It has a sticker for a head. And really, the toy looks nothing like our G1 Ironhide at all, and to this day this hasn't sat well with collectors. Unless you go to the masterpiece route, Ironhide toys based on the G1 character have never really got it 100% right. There's always some caveat, some problem, something that brings the toy down. Until now, maybe. The Studio Series 86 Voyager Class Ironhide is the closest we have ever gotten, so I want to put it under the microscope in this episode, and let's find out for ourselves if Hasbro and Takara have finally given the fans what they crave.
The Transformers!
The main attraction for sure is the robot mode. Look at this thing. It's Ironhide with no caveats. For a long time, Ironhide toys that tried to do the G1 cartoon design either had a massive backpack that is the roof or the front of the van, or the van doors hanging off the arms, or the chest is comic compared to the limbs, or half the van turning into a shield and a battle platform. I really want to find out more about the black magic they used to make this robot mode. There is an 8-seater van hidden inside this robot mode with no parts forming, faux parts, and very, very little kibble. There's a bit on the legs, but it doesn't stick out too much. But look at this backpack. Oh wait, you can't find it because there is none. How could they come up with this? No more sticker head as well. We have a very nice head sculpt here. I don't know why people say it's not accurate for some reason, but side by side with the official Sunbow model, that's fucking Ironhide. Wear your glasses. Proportionally, I think this Ironhide is spot on. He's got the right amount of bulk to him with nice chunky limbs and a good sized chest that's not completely massive. Legs are buff looking, and again the back is super clean with the part of the front bumper tucking nicely and snug in there. Some people say he's kind of small for a Voyager sized toy, but I have to sort of disagree here, not fully, but I do disagree. Putting him side by side with other figures in the SS86 line, he scales very nicely. I don't have the SS86 Optimus, but people say they look very close to the show sizing when side by side. Beside my 86 Jazz figure, he looks just about right. So collectors of the subline are going to be happy. Heck, even mixing him with War for Cybertron and Legacy toys look right too. Sitting beside Trailbreaker, he's a bit smaller. Yeah, it shows. But I know the cartoon had mass shifting and such, but there is a scale that the community has figured out. All of this to say, I don't think that Ironhide being a bit smaller is a negative for this toy. Maybe there's a little bit of an argument that it's a bit small for a Voyager size, but amongst his peers in his toy line and around the current toys, he fits right in. Maybe they could have added a bit more value to the package if he was indeed a smaller scale Voyager. He comes with 2 laser pistols that I think could have used some more paint, but are fine, I guess. At least you can dual wield them, which is fun. Maybe we could have gotten an additional weapon like his water / liquid nitrogen / acid / everything liquid gun. That would have made the package absolutely special. Weapon storage is great as the pegs from the bottom of the front bumper are exposed and the two guns can clip right on. If you like, you can peg them on the legs too, as the roof pegs are right on the back. Again, this black magic needs to be studied in universities. Despite folding an entire van into this thing, the toy articulates so incredibly well. Head can tilt back and nod forward due to the transformation joint and spin 360 on its ball joint. Shoulders can rotate full 360 and full 90 degrees outward into a T-pose. The shoulders can also slightly angle backward, thanks to the transformation to make our intimidating boy more menacing. 90-degree elbows with a bit of back tilt, full 360 bicep swivel, and full 360 wrist rotation. Nice, we're just getting started. Waist does a full 360 if you unpeg the torso, and you can tilt it back, which could come in handy for some interesting poses. Legs shoot 90 degrees forward if you lift the skirt up, 90 degrees backwards, and 90 degrees out to the side for a full split pose. I told you it's incredible in articulation. Those Pilates classes Ironhide signed up for are paying dividends. Knees go 90 degrees backwards and you have some wicked ankle articulation that might not hold up under its own weight, but you can get into some wild posing anyways. All jokes aside, this is seriously impressive. Holy smokes. Absolutely no complaints here, and I think it's the best we've seen on the show yet. It's time to demystify the figure with the transformation and finally tell you how it goes from a near kibble-less robot to a van. Now, I haven't had any legit criticisms of the toy so far, but there are certainly a few here, and I'm going to get to them. But if you've never seen the transformation in action, just look up MGo's Just Transform It video. It's a miracle transformation. Parts of the van magically fold out of places like the torso, legs, and feet. A whole trunk unfolds out of the legs with back windows, a bumper, tires. It's absolute craziness. It's mind-blowing stuff. I also like how the next part of the transformation works, where you rotate the front section of the van to match with the front bumper. This is good engineering right here. Now, the problems start when you're trying to tab in the front and back parts of the van together. Firstly, there is not much room for error because the tolerances are not great. I always struggle with the arm placement and making sure the roof of the van is perfectly straight before I tab in the doors. And then there are some big problems here with this last step. Maybe it's not as big an issue as it was in the Jazz episode, but again, we have some transparent blue plastic to deal with here. This time, it's not the plastic itself that's the problem, as it's pretty thick. I don't really see it being an issue in the immediate future, but we'll have a problem here if the tabs are made of the same plastic, which they are. The pieces that are holding parts of the alt mode together could snap off one day if you're not careful and if you put too much force on them. This is just not good design from Hasbro Takara. They need to stop making hinge parts out of transparent blue plastic. With how finicky it is to transform into the van, it's not really my go-to transformer to mess around with. Going from van to robot mode is better, but sometimes I forget how to recreate the legs because of how intricately the pieces fold into each other. And frankly, I also don't appreciate the transparent plastic tabs, as I'm afraid I might break the figure one day by not being careful. It's a bit of a bummer considering how much I've loved this figure so far. Now we get into his vanette mode, and it's pretty alright. I wouldn't say I'm completely wowed by it like some of the other G1ified alt modes. Certainly not the same level of infatuation with this as I do with the robot mode. I think proportionally it's a bit skinny. No problem with the length of the vehicle, but the width is a bit too short. The sides look a little bit panely, but I understand why. To pull off that miracle transformation, you're going to have some caveats, like these 3 sets of hinges on both sides of the van. How else do you fold up all the door panels and rims and stuff? I guess it's a necessary evil, but no excuse. I really don't understand why they didn't add the yellow strip to this toy. They went so painstakingly far to engineer and design this toy to be as G1 accurate as possible, like really do right by the fans who have waited for this for so long without going out and buying the masterpiece toy. And then they skimp out on such a simple and easy layup. This perturbed me so badly that it gaslit me into thinking maybe Ironhide doesn't have the yellow stripe in the 86 movie. Only to watch it again, and yes, he does. He has it. My jimmies are rustled, but what makes them rattle volcanically is the buzzworthy Bumblebee dead Autobot version has it. You little pieces of shit. So then, just get the Buzz BB version if you want the stripe so badly. Haha, no! He has a hole in his chest and his face looks like he shat himself. I can't tell if it's laziness or an oversight or budget problems or on purpose to sell another toy, but whatever it is, it pisses me off. I don't like to customize my toys, but I might make an exception this time. Are there toy hacks for this? Okay, fine. I was hamming it up a little bit. Time for a criticism that actually matters. The alt mode has 3 different shades of red on it. One of them is a result of trying to paint over some of the blue transparent plastic and they didn't color match it quite right. Just take a look at the roof here as an example. You have this soft, more textured plastic that has the color in it and a deeper hue of red. Then you have a more solid plastic where they painted over it with the correct tone of red for an Ironhide toy. Then you have a section where they painted over the transparent blue plastic in red, and again they didn't color match it properly. And then finally we're back to the painted over plastic that we saw before. Guys, what are we doing here? This alt mode looks like a fucking Pablo Picasso art piece. This Vanet alt mode has 3 different reds on it, and it's noticeable because there's no colors on the figure to distract from it. Should have added that yellow stripe to it, am I right? Got him. Whatever caveats have been bestowed upon this alt mode, I think the front profile looks pretty good. Could have used some paint for the lights, get some reds and yellows going, but the front grille looks nicely detailed. I feel similarly about the back, though I wish they did the back windshield in blue plastic to match the whole vehicle. A bit of a shortcut here for budget purposes. Mushroom pegged wheels? Okay, fine. It rolls okay. It would have been better with pinwheels. Everything's better with pinned wheels. You really can see where the designer saved budget for this alt mode. My copy of the toy has a small QC issue where the 2 halves don't fully stick together, but this might be an isolated incident. I don't hear too many people mentioning this as an issue, so I'm not going to make a big deal of it. Maybe it's just my luck here. The back looks its best with the cool weapon storage. You can tab the 2 guns to the bottom of the vehicle and they look like dual mufflers. Very nice touch here. You can also do it in the front too to lesser effect, but it's an option. The last place you can tab the guns is on top of the roof on these blue plastic tabs, so your innocuous looking Vanet can shoot down his enemies around the neighborhood. Kinda Twisted Metal-esque, I'm digging that. So in the end, there are aspects of this toy where I feel they could have done it better, but I'm still very impressed by it. Enough to award this Studio Series 86 toy a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not fully in love with the van mode, but man, the robot is something special. The robot mode is not just a home run, it's a grand slam in my opinion, and I appreciate the ambition and dedication with the engineering of this figure and how they try to make it look as clean as possible without going to masterpiece tier. It doesn't do it flawlessly as there are some baffling design choices that I wouldn't have gone with, but I can still recommend this Ironhide for people looking for the quintessential G1 version. Or maybe even the Ratchet retooling. I don't have it because it's hard to find, but I would probably land in a similar place with it. I think without buying the MPs, where they have an enormous budget with less restrictions, this 86 movie inspired Ironhide is the closest we are going to get to a mini masterpiece version of our gruff and tough buddy Ironhide. Thanks again for everyone checking out this review, and that's another awesome Autobot covered. We still have a very long way to go till all are done, but we'll get there eventually. Slow and steady wins the race. Next time on the show, we cover the Autobot most associated with Ironhide. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can catch that, and ding-a-ling that bell so you get the notification. Ding-a-ling. It's time to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by the JR Magnus channel, and peace out.